I was just trying to look to see if our mustaches are cut the same distance down below the lip.
Yeah, I had just trimmed mine recently, so it was hanging down a little bit further. That's nice of you that you had to try to copy me, Jason.
I know exactly. At least mine's got gray in it, so it shows wisdom.
Something like that.
I'm the old guy.
All right. Well, I think we got some more people in here, but so for everyone that's here, thank you for coming. I appreciate everyone joining in on the call here. And so I just kind of wanted to start off by saying that I have everyone that came into this meeting came in with their microphone muted. And if you could just make sure that you keep it muted unless you have something to speak. But we'll start off by Jason kind of giving a rundown, Jason, Jordan, and Tyler of some of the new products, what's going on tomorrow with the launch, and then we'll open it up for questions. And we can open it up for a couple ways for questions where we can have you can write a note in and be able to see that, or you can just unmute yourself and speak there. So, does anybody have any questions before we get rolling here? All right. Well, again, thanks for coming, Jason. Do you want to kind of take it from here?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, thanks for everybody coming on. Yeah, we're just going to talk a little bit about the new products we have coming out, which obviously, if you've been following us and this, invested into the program, you kind of know what we're talking about here. We're talking about our new saddles, which is our Nano and our Ultimate, which are two, like, essentially what we consider to be revolutionary um, products in the mobile hunting space. Another area we're going to talk about is like where we are with sticks and what we're changing this year for our sticks. And we're also going to talk about the uni system that goes with our saddles in the backpack. And then we're also going to talk about our extract system, which is a safety device for saddle hunting in case you were ever to fall and you're in a situation where you can't get your feet up under you, and suspension trauma becomes a problem. So suspension trauma is something that can kill you, but also this system will allow you to also take that suspension trauma aspect out, but also allow you to self-rescue if you're hunting by yourself and can't get anybody coming with you. That's what we plan on talking about tonight. So I guess I would say, you know, if you're on this call, you probably know enough about like what we've been putting out there about the saddles. So, we're here to essentially answer any questions and show you any details on these saddles that we have. We have them all here. So I think it would be a good place to start with saddles is to open that up.
All right. Does anybody have any questions to get started here as far as in reference to the saddles specifically? While the questions are coming in, I did want to just add that for tomorrow's pre-order that's going to be launching, so you'll be getting an email and that'll have an exclusive discount code for you to be able, if you're interested in doing the pre-order there. But I guess I'll start it by giving some questions to Jason while everyone else is kind of thinking of them here. Actually, first we do have one that came in here. So I use a saddle and a regular tree stand. Some too. I'm assuming the Nano would be better for that. Jason, do you want to take that one?
Yeah. Uh, he said he uses a saddle and a regular tree stand.
That's correct.
Yeah. So yeah, it depends on how you're using it. You know, typically how I use a saddle, it's a restraint device, right? Especially when I'm in a tree stand, it like keeps me out to the edge. And then if I'm getting tired, I can lean into the saddle. I can go up against a tree, or I can turn around and reposition. So the beauty of the Nano is it's as it's made as a single panel, it's arguably based on testing experience, outside of ourselves, other people have tested it. It's the most comfortable single panel. and it's also extremely lightweight and packable. So it will work fine for that application, and you will have, you know, a more comfortable set than you probably have. The beauty of, you know, both these new saddles is you have the ability to, you know, have the stick clips and also your platform attachment on the back.
All right, another question came in. How are these for long sits? Have you had any all-day sits in it? I'm guessing that is in reference to both the Nano and the Ultimate. So you just kind of want to break those two down there.
Yeah. I mean, Jordan and I both have tested both saddles all year, and, you know, amongst other people have tested them, which are not on the call, but, you know, I mean, the 2-panel, the Ultimate, is what we developed to be your all day, everything, no questions asked saddle. The thing that people don't understand sometimes, and I've never sat in anybody else's 2-panel, but both our original black belt and the Ultimate, they sit very comfortably as a single panel. And where they shine is that they have foam. Both of those have foam reinforcement that helps with pitch points. So like pinch points are essentially obsolete with our saddles in the 2-panel styles, and they ride good as a 1-panel, but for a 2-panel set, like, you know, where you get the benefit of a 2-panel is like when you're doing an all-day sit and you get really tired, especially after multiple days, is you're able to drop that bottom panel down to get up under your hamstrings, and then you pull that top panel up around your lumbar, where, you know, where a lot of people sell a back band or whatever. That's the beauty of a 2-panel saddle. You know, what we were surprised with the Nano was we developed that saddle to be like the most compact, ultralight run and gun system that was ever on the market. And it was actually developed based off of a alpine climbing harness that I've had and used for years. And we took that and we essentially engineered that into a hunting saddle. So it's extremely compact, lightweight. We reduced the size of the webbing. You know, a lot of people use a standard size of webbing for their whole configuration of their saddle, but we reduced that size, and we were able to use better webbing and get a higher max poundage weight for our testing with that. So it made a lighter weight, easier to compact, but also it's extremely comfortable because what we do with our panels is they're not like a traditional, like, I'll grab it real quick. They're not a traditional like football shape. What we do is we make them a little bit wider. So what that does, it allows, you know, your webbing to not constrict all the way down to this like tight pinch point like you see with a lot of people's traditional, what they call football shapes. This opens it up. And then what we did here on this Nano is we have foam padding and reinforcements here where your pinch points are critical. So that like alleviates the pinch point that most people feel when an all-day sit. But also this little saddle, I mean, it just balls up into nothing. So the point of it is you have this saddle that has two-way stretch. I mean, it stretches. We have a material that we use that's proprietary that it stretches more way one way than the other. So we increase the stretch going horizontally more than vertical, because that's what you want to wrap around you. And so my whole point of saying that is we created this thing thinking it was going to be lightweight, super packable run and gun, but it ends up being a really comfortable saddle for longer sits. I mean, we've sat in this thing. I mean, I've sat up to 6 hours, you know, on sits, but it's a hard gamble. I would say if you're looking at from an all-day sit perspective, like you're there, daylight's dark, you really want to have that 2-panel, just especially if you're hunting multiple days, to like alleviate those stress points over time.
Yeah, it's just the adjustability, I think. Like, throughout the day, being able to drop the panel and changing pressure points, because no matter what, everybody knows, even if you're sitting in the most comfortable tree stand, you're sitting there all day, you're going to get uncomfortable. So the benefit of the 2-panel, in my opinion, is having the option to run it multiple ways.
Yeah.
And change the way it feels on your body.
Yeah. Sorry, I can go into the weeds on stuff.
No, that was good. All right, another one. I'm new to saddle hunting and am eyeing up the Nano. Is that a better option for a first-time saddle hunter versus the 2-panel, or how would you kind of rate that?
I think it depends on like what you're trying to achieve. The thing about the Nano is it's a great early season. If you're new to saddle hunting, depending on how much you hunt, like it's going to be comfortable for a lot of long-term sits. But where the Ultimate shines, honestly, besides being super comfortable and having a lot of the same features and benefits as the Nano with the magnetic stick clips and the platform hanger, is you also have the option of carrying your sticks in. So essentially, if you have the lumbar pack and the pack side pouches on the Ultimate, you can get in, if you're not a guy that hunts real deep like a lot of us mountain guys do, you can get in very deep, or not very deep, but you can get into your sets with a very minimalist system with that 2-panel. And especially like if you don't have much more than like what you're carrying as far as your gear, you could like rig up your saddle platform on a easy shoulder strap system where you can walk in with your saddle with most of your stuff on there, ready to go. So it's a weird place, honestly. But
I think if it's your first year saddle hunting, just make sure whichever one you get, put in the practice with it, because it's going to be a completely new experience.
Yeah.
So I mean, this the 2-panel is going to be a little more, it's got more features, so it's going to be a little bit more of a learning curve. But as long as you plan ahead and have time to practice in both of them, I think you'd be fine with a 2-panel.
Yeah, because the 2-panel rides, if you keep it tight, it functions very well as a single panel too.
Yeah.
So you never have to upgrade, essentially, is a good way of looking at it.
Cool. All right. Another question. Can you show the system that holds the sticks? Would this be ideal for a single stick method? So probably the mud flap stick carrier there, and then also how it attaches to the side.
Yeah. I'll be happy to model that. Vanessa, will you grab my stick for me, please? So the beauty of both of our saddles that you're going to see here, get right up in you. We have magnetic waist belt. Boom. And you have adjustability either way.
And one thing I want to add about that magnetic waist belt there, and with having two sides with cinching, if you've ever used any other saddles in the past where you just pull it on one side as you go to walk or do anything with it and you have weight in your pouches, it starts to loosen up on its own and sag. Where the way this cinches together, you don't have that issue. So when you pull it tight, it stays in its place.
Yeah, no, that's a good point, Bo. Thank you for bringing that up. We also use different types of webbing based on what we're using webbing for. So the webbing used in our waist belt is different than the structure. It's used to minimize or maximize friction on the waist belt. Same thing with how we do our on the back of the stick clip. So can you see that? You see that?
Hey, can everyone make sure that their mics are muted, please? Hey, anyone that's on the call here, can you make sure that your mic is muted? All right, now I can hear Jason. Whoops.
He's busy. He's swinging.
All right, hold on. I might have to. Actually, I can mute him. Okay, there we go.
Yeah. So if you're a one stick guy, you can see like this is one regular stick. So it's going to be weighted different. But you can take, you know, and from the back here, you can adjust this yourself. I mean, it takes a little bit of a small learning curve to like start understanding how this all works, but it rides there. But with our mud flat technology that we have here, we have this tacky material that will hold any stick. So, you know, like it does not move. So even a bigger stick would work well there if you're a one stick guy. But where it really shines too is if you're using lightweight sticks, you know, there's a lot of them on the market. You can put 4 up to, you know, on this system. And it's really easy, you know, once you get the hang of maneuvering it, to find it. Is that good? Oh, the stick clip? The stick clip works like this. So on the 2 panel, it's right here. The cool thing about the stick clip is all you have to do is go directly into it like that. But it has this U shape right here that when you're climbing, it won't push itself out. So it's funny, it's weird, but you can go straight into it, but to come out, you have to pull up. And we have these little tabs on here that are made out of biothane that's real grippy, so it's easy for you to grab. And how these attach to the stick, it's girth hitched right here with this C-clip. So if you have a stick that has windows, you can go through there. But even if you have a stick that doesn't have windows, you can girth hitch it around the post, or if it's too big of a post, you can put paracord around and still girth hitch it with the stick strap. And you can see how easy this is to find. We have heavy duty loops here for the G clips that are easy to find. You can go in with one hand on each side, and they're both specifically turned the right way. So they go in, boom, and then out. And you just pull down. And you also have your magnetic platform attachment right there. That's easy to find.
All right. Anything else to add on that, Jason?
Yeah, for that aspect, you know, the only thing with the magnetic belt is to disengage. You want to relieve pressure, and then you just pull the clip, and it pops off.
Yeah, and for the next question that we had about the pouches, they're asking if they are sewn in, and I'll start off by answering that one where the pouches are not sewn in, so they attach by MOLLE webbing. So maybe you can even show that there, Jason.
Yeah.
How the pouches are attached there.
Yeah, so we have we're gonna have 2 different styles of pouches, sorry. So they both go in traditional MOLLE with triglides here that go through. And these pouches will also work with our uni system, which we can talk about later, will also have a future waist belt attachment. So when you're not saddle hunting, you can take the uni system and apply it to another waist belt system to use for, you know, hiking, scouting, turkey hunting, whatever. And these pouches will work with that. So that's why we designed them the way we did. And also, if you don't like our pouches, you can use a pouch you already have, you know, like if you're trying to save money, like I'm not trying to sell you on anything. You can use other pouches on this MOLLE loop. but we do have two different styles of pouches. We have one that's our black belt series, and then we have a lower grade series. So these are more structured, that have the orange lining on the inside. And then we have another version that's going to be still structured to have one hand zipper, and they're both right and left hand specific. But it's going to be two different price points. But
Yep,
they both
sorry, Jason. I was going to say the lower tiers are black belt series on the saddle bags, and then the higher tier with the orange is we're calling it the Ultimates.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. I just make this up. I forget the names.
And Jason, while you're at it, show the back pouch, which is a different one as well.
Yeah. So we'll have two different versions of this as well. So this is a lumbar pouch. It works. We have the space to put it on the Nano, but this is really specific for the Ultimate. And the reason that is because the Ultimate, the platform attachment is below that on the second panel, whereas on the Nano, the platform attachment's up around your waist belt. So the beauty of this lumbar pouch is you can add more gear to it. Honestly, I've put in like some layers, like my long johns. If I'm walking in, I can stuff them in there. You could, if you're a one stick guy and you're wanting to stow your wrap line, you could put 40 foot of 8 mil in here as well. So it's just extra storage. So this whole system is built to be for a guy that's wanting to be minimalist, to just walk in with what they have on without having a backpack. All you'd have to do is put your platform on your back.
Yeah, no, that's good. And to move along, next question is there an approximate ship date for these saddles once people pre-order them there?
The paddles?
Yeah, the saddles.
Yeah, so once we launch tomorrow, we're looking at about 90 days from those orders. And the reason it is because we're on all of our G hooks, we're doing those private label. And most of the stuff comes out of China, but the only thing that, most of the stuff comes out of US, but the only thing that nobody makes in America is G hooks. So we have to get our G hooks out of Asia, and we're doing them private label with a little Timber Ninja logo. So those are kind of the hindrance for us. So that's what's going to really hold up our production right now.
Yeah. And then also, do you want to talk a little bit about the pricing of each of the new saddles here?
Yeah. So the Ultimate will come in just for the saddle. And I guess one thing we didn't talk about is our bridge that we're going to be using. We originally tested these for the most part with Oplux, but we've changed that to using Amsteel. So we're using 1/4 inch Amsteel on these going forward, because after testing of both, we really like the Amsteel more. It flows better, it packs up and wads up better. So, and we're gonna be using a proprietary green Amsteel that we're working on a project through Hang Free. And so for the Ultimate, you will get a saddle with your bridge. You'll get 2 stick clips and just the saddle, and that will be $409.99 is our cost on the Ultimate. And the Nano is going to have the same configuration, and it's going to be $329.99. So essentially, how you look at that is, you have the stick clips on the sides and the platform hanger, and also it's just revolutionary equipment and materials that we're using, but you're not having to go out and essentially buy 3D printed or some other type of stick hangers or platform hangers. That's where the extra cost comes from, for sure.
Yep. Yeah, everything's built in there.
Yeah, it's ready to hunt.
Yep. And all right, another question that I have here that came in separate through an email is the bridge and are the bridge and lineman loops a little more forward? I have used competitors' saddles. I have 2 other competitor saddles and hate the loops being so far back. And PS, love the magnet loops.
Yeah. So the thing that's unique about our bridges is our bridge loops are very compact and rigid. One thing we do that's different is proprietary to us. Like, so if anybody's familiar with like saddle hunting, like there's a lot of times some people want to adjust their bridge angle. And like, say with a tethered saddle, they have the comfort channels where you have the balls and stuff, you know, to kind of keep that in position. Well, we have what we call our tacky bridge. It's a proprietary material that we put on there, and you can do a single girth hitch on each side. It doesn't matter where you put it, it does not slide. So it's easy to adjust. And I mean, honestly, we pay you money if you can make these move, like after one single girth hitch. And another thing we did, so they're compact, you know, for the bridge loop perspective, but also one thing, you know, when you're a guy that goes in, you want to be completely stealthy. Like some people don't want to use a headlamp. I get it. You just want to find your stuff in the dark. We took our lineman's loops and we oriented them in line with our waist belt, but they kind of angle up. So it's easy to differentiate the two. Because like a lot of people align their lineman's loops right behind their bridge loops. We put these up here and they're direct positioned up, and they're positioned and they're stiff and rigid to where they fold against your body. So you don't have to be conscious about that if you're drawing your bow or doing anything else. Like, so it's all rigid, easy to find, super, super simple stuff.
Okay, that makes sense. Does anybody have any other questions on the saddles specifically here? I don't have any other ones in the queue here before we move on to the next stuff. All right, let's if you have any questions going forward, just add them into the chat and I'll make sure that I bring them up to Jason here. But to kind of move on here, I want to talk a little bit about the sticks, Jason, and you know what's the timeline on that as far as if anybody'd be ordering the C1 and the A1 sticks.
So yeah, we're not making a lot of changes this year to our sticks. I mean, we have stuff. I mean, we're always trying to innovate, but we'll be launching those again with the saddle release, and we'll be looking at 90 to 120 days of getting stuff out, maybe sooner, but we're trying to really build a lot of stock. The only change that we're making this year on our sticks is we'll be going away from the gloss finish, and we're going to have a more of a matte gray finish on our sticks, which, where is that? I don't know if you can see it here, but this is a round tube that kind of shows the difference in color. So it's going to be a really flat matte gray finish compared to this is kind of, if you can see that, you see the shininess versus the matte. All the new sticks will be coming out with the matte finish. Yes. Also, we're doing away with the 24s. We're trying to like simplify our business model. So only sticks we'll be doing this year, 20-inch in aluminum and the carbon. And both will be available with retractable aiders.
All right. Yeah, I don't think there was anything else on the sticks that I can remember off the top of my head. But what about, let's talk about the extract a little bit. Do you have that there to show?
Yeah, we do have the extract. So
I think that's an important one to hit.
Yeah. So last year, I don't know how many people like really stay in the loop with what's going on, you know, like from an accident perspective, but there was one person I know for sure that died last year from a saddle hunting related accident. And unfortunately he perished because of suspension trauma. So if you're not familiar with suspension trauma is it's when you fall down and your legs can't get a hold of anything and all the pressure goes into your carotid arteries. It cuts off the blood flow and it can kill you. Depending on what your weight is, it can happen very quick or it can take a long time. But because when you're suspended, you have to like essentially regain contact to get yourself down. I mean, that's another thing. If you don't die, if you're hunting out and you're a remote guy or girl, if you don't have phone service, you may be stuck in the tree all night. If the weather changes, you can have hypothermia or any of that stuff. But most people that have like followed us understands that like I've been in the safety side of the business for a long time. I've got essentially 18 years in the safety market, 15 years in fall protection, training and inspection. And also I've been rock climbing for a while. So after hearing that and hearing about some other accidents, well, we just came out with a product that we're going to be releasing too. It's called the Extract. So essentially what this is, it's a system that it comes like you see here. It has a carabiner and a pack. And then inside of it, you have a continuous loop that you can use as a Prusik. And then you have an extendable ladder system. So what this does, say you're in an area where you have phone service and or you got a hunting buddy and you fall, you could extract this system. And what you do is you take the continuous loop, make your Prusik, and you put it on your main tether line. And you can engage into that Prusik system on that main tether with the carabiner here. And you can use this ladder system to relieve pressure off of your arteries so you don't, essentially develop suspension trauma. Well, that can work out if you have phone service, you have a buddy close by, but if you're remote and you don't have that service, you can also use the same system to self-rescue. That's why we call it the Extract. You can either get somebody in there to get you out or you can get yourself out. So how you do this, and we got a video that we recorded today, we're going to release on this, but you essentially can use this same system. So you go in direct on your mainline tether if you were to fall, and then you can take your lineman's belt that you use to get up the tree and turn that into another dual tether system. And you can work these two systems back down the tree to either get to the step or to somewhere of solid ground. Because I had a buddy this year that was using a cast platform and it snapped on him at 30 feet up in the air. He hunts high and he couldn't regain foot control, but he happened to be hunting with somebody else. They were doing a dual hunt. One was filming, one was hunting. And so the other one was right below him. So he was able to step on that guy's shoulder to relieve the pressure and kind of self-rescue. But if he hadn't been there with somebody else, like he would have been in a really bad situation. So that's why we brought out the Extract system. I mean, we've been working on this for a while, but like all this stuff happening last year, we felt it was really important for us to bring out something from a safety and rescue type perspective. Sorry if I got a little deep on that. Oh, you don't see it all. So essentially you have 5 loops here, 4 loops. And it goes into this little bag. My recommendation is, like if you're a guy that wants to be very nimble when you're walking in, like don't attach it to you walking in, put it in your pack, or if you run the Ultimate, put it in your lumbar pack. But make sure you take that thing out and put it on your molly loop, because it does connect into any molly loop on any saddle before you start climbing, because that's where, once you start getting off the ground, that's where accidents can happen.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. And yeah, that video will be coming out here shortly for anyone that's wanting to see that. I know Tyler and Jason had filmed that today. Another question is, I have the 24-inch 5C1 sticks and the steps squeak and wiggle a little bit when climbing. Any update on that with the new sticks? If not, any recommendations?
The only thing, there's a difference in the how we make our tubes has a varying tolerance up to like almost to 1,000ths, whereas our steps are machined pretty much exact. There can be a little bit of play there. With the new sticks, the only thing that can really like help that is like we're not using a gloss finish, so there's not, when you have that movement in the step, which the step is a polymer against that gloss finish, that can cause some squeaking. So with the new sticks, you know, you're not going to have that at all. I mean, the possibility of that squeaking a little bit is potential. Another thing is we're changing our bolts. We're going to a zinc plated black bolt. And with our old bolts, we did have some corrosion. Like, it's not like taking away the durability of the actual bolt itself, but like it can have some corrosion that can cause friction on the polymer itself that can create some noise. So how we've alleviated that with other customers in the past is there's two things you can do. And it sucks, I apologize, but you can take the step off. You can put a little bit of electrical tape in between the tube and the step itself to help with that. You can also take and put like a little Vaseline or mineral oil behind the screw when you put it back in. And essentially, if you do both of those, you'll alleviate any of the noise you have with the sticks. It has been it's a small problem. It doesn't happen on all, but it does happen on enough that we're going to fix it in the future for sure.
Okay, thanks, Jason. Another one is, have you guys considered a quick connect for us single stick guys?
What's a quick connect?
I'm not familiar with that myself either.
Oh, on the sticks?
A quick
Or a cam cleat?
I'm not exactly sure. If you're listening and that wrote in that question, feel free to chime in. Yes, yeah, cam cleat.
We've done them on these sticks for a few people. We did I can't remember. We did a little collaboration on some prototypes with Artisan Outdoors where we made one stick and we sent some out. The thing is like, this is really a part-time job still for all of us. And it really interrupted our production, and it wasn't something that we were like wanting to pursue. So we have done that. And I'm not discrediting one stick guys, but like really like for the core of our market and for us being efficient, we have to like go to the broader market to be efficient. So we like didn't pursue that anymore. So, but we continue to get hit up by people almost every day about one sticks. And I can tell you, we are going to be working on a one stick for all of you guys. That's going to be carbon aluminum mixture. So we don't have anything yet, but I'm not going to say it's going to come out this season, but 2024 at the latest, you'll have a one stick option from us. It's going to be better. I mean, also, we don't want one stick hunt. So like, we want to play with the system itself, like to see what other people have. Well, we don't look at other people's products, but like see what's really needed from a one stick perspective is how we look at things.
And the other comment that they had was, I'm scared to drill the carbon, so fine using it as is. But
yeah, I hate drilling carbon myself.
You do a little bit of that, don't you?
Yeah, we do a bunch of
All right. Any other questions coming in here? I knew some more people have joined. All right. If this is allowed, any updates on the carbon stand?
Yeah. We got it right over there.
We have it.
Yeah, I mean, the carbon stand is a hard thing. I mean, we have it. It's finished. It's ready to go to market. It's like a production bottleneck we've ran into with our supplier, and so we are planning to release it this year. I mean, it's ready to go. I mean, we've been testing this thing. It's solid. It is awesome, but like we get concerned about, you know, we've been burnt by manufacturers in the past, and like we're really concerned how quick they can produce. So we're going to release it, but it'll be a limited run this year, to be honest. I mean, if you want to see it, we can show it to you.
Yeah, bring it up, put it on camera.
And bring that bad boy out. As much time as we've spent with that thing, go for it.
No, well, Bo tells me all the time I'm the worst salesman ever.
Yeah, so pull it out.
Yeah. So here it is. God, it's heavy. No. So the stand itself. So the thing is like where people get hung up when they're talking mobile stands these days is that everybody's looking for like this 5.5 pound stand, right? And with aluminum, when you get a 5.5 pound stand, you get like a 17, 18 inch long stand that has a short seat post and a short seat. Well, I mean, this stand here, how it sits is 6.5 pounds and it's 29 inches deep. So it's, I would say if you're a person that's, up to snuff on mobile hunting stands, it's a little bit bigger than a B stand and, essentially about the same weight, I think. I don't even know what theirs weighs, but it's super lightweight. It's a thinner profile than, I mean, when you fold this thing down, there's not anything thinner than this. It's rock solid. There's not any flex to it. We also did away with cables for our connection points. We went with Amsteel. We've been working on this for a while. So we have a Amsteel attachment instead of cables. So it reduces noise. Like anybody that's been hunting out of stand understands, especially if you're a rubber boot guy, it squeaks. So, we did away with that with the Amsteel. Actually, we were super impressed with how sturdy Amsteel is. You would think there would be some like give to it. This stuff is rock solid and you save weight with that. And then it packs up. We have a full size seat too, which you can see here. I mean, it's a very comfortable seat. When we launch, we'll have an accessory pad for it because like any type of window-based seat is not going to be comfortable in your butt. The beauty of the carbon, besides the weight and the noise aspect, is it doesn't transfer temperature. And I thought for a while that it was like placebo, meaning that like I just thought from hunting on it that knowing it was carbon, it was going to be warmer on my feet. But I hunted this stand in like really cold temperatures in Iowa and here, like single digits. And I was switching during the weeks of hunting, I was switching between our aluminum platform and the carbon stand. And I noticeably felt a difference in my the warmth of my feet when I hunted the carbon. So I can contest that it's not placebo. Like it is true that when you hunt on a carbon stand or carbon platform, your feet will not get as cold as they would when you're hunting on aluminum. But yeah, it packs super tight. You can, it's a dual adjustable on the platform and the seat. If you crack it down there, but it's super low profile.
And Jason, you want to show how the attachment method works on that?
What attachment method?
How it attaches to the tree.
Oh, well, I've been using something a little different than everybody else. Like we have cam buckle straps, but I've been using a system. It's a Amsteel system through Hang Free. And essentially it goes around the tree. And what you have is like a prusik, an Amsteel prusik on your main line, and you're able to adjust that. So what that does, And I will say, like, getting used to this system, if you've been accustomed to a cam buckle, is a learning curve. But once you understand how to use it, I would say the pros outweigh the cons. And the cons of a cam buckle is A, they're heavy, and B, when the cam buckle bumps into your stand, it makes a lot of noise, right? You don't get that with the Amsteel system here. What I do when I'm hunting with this, I take both of them off and I stuff them in my pocket. They wad up, I put them in my pocket. That way I can attach the stand to the back of the Ultimate or the Nano. Or if you're a backpack hunter, you can slide your stand in the backpack. You pull it out, hold the stand in one hand, because it's a 6.5 pound stand. You can easily hold it in one hand, pull out your main line for the top, and you can hook it in, pull this little contraption out of your backpack or your pocket, and it's easy to hook in, and then you adjust the tension and she locks in. It's bomber, but it does take a little bit of practice to get it dialed. But the stand will work with traditional cam buckles as well.
Okay, thanks. What about, while we're on the talk about platforms, what about the aluminum saddle platform? Do you want to give an update on that?
We have one of those? Yeah. So, sorry. We've been testing one for a few years. Yeah, we can show that one. We've been testing one for a few years, and we really loved it, but we want to make some changes. What we did with our aluminum platform, especially as a guy that hunts with a stick bow most of the time, and even like compound guys, like, we wanted more space with our platform, like make it deeper. Because a lot of platforms that we had used in the past, when they made them bigger, they just made them wider. They didn't make them deeper from the tree. And where that problem is when you go to draw your bow, and especially like if you're on angle trees, you're like really up tight to the tree. So you're like stepping up and you're having to do all these things where you're having to walk around the tree. So we wanted to make our platform a little deeper. So ours is 14 inches deep. So it's like, I don't know, I haven't looked at everybody's, but it's like 2 to 3 inches deeper than anybody else's platform. So what that allows you to do is almost to use this as like a little hybrid tree stand. You can stand, and you don't, especially on that offside shot, you don't have to like do any like contorting of your body and twisting out. You can actually stand up and turn your back and just run your tether up under your arm and get that, weak side shot, regardless of what side, if you're left hand or right hand shooter. But we've been working on this for a few years. We were ready to launch it, but we, really, Jordan and I weren't happy with it. So we changed a few things and we perfected it. Like, we weren't happy with the weight, even at the size. Like, it's a lot bigger than even like, if you're a saddle hunter and all the other platforms out there, it was still around that Mission weight, maybe a little bit more because it was a little bit bigger. And we wanted to like reduce that. So we changed up the design a little bit. We did away with a bolt-in Versa button. So our Versa button is going to be cut into the main beam. And we put we put weight reduction holes down the main beam. And we also changed the pattern of the platform itself. And we also put windows in our setback, which our setback is set up to like allow our sticks to nest into our setback. So when you're wanting to haul everything in on one gig, you can do that. And what else do we do? Oh, and we're going to be coating this in a non-skid pattern. It's a powder coat, super grippy, non-skid pattern on the platform as well. And right now, the weight on that's like, was it 3.2 pounds? Yeah, around 3.5 on our new one. But we should have the finals on that next week, and we'll be launching that within probably a couple months. Like, the only thing that's changed about the whole platform. We've tested this thing. I mean, honestly, this bad boy is rock solid. This isn't cast. The problem you have with cast is cast can be a little bit like inconsistent areas. You could have like fractures or failures there, whereas everything that we manufacture is all from stock aluminum. I mean, the mast, everything is all going to be machined, so it's going to be rock solid and bomber. So you will not have to worry about anything breaking here for sure.
Yeah, and okay, so I don't have any other questions on that platform specifically, but got a question that came in about, and this is a good one for you, Jason, because this is exactly what you do. But do you still run a saddle when sitting on the carbon stand?
Yes. Yeah, because a saddle is essentially by nature, like if you look at it from a fall protection perspective, a saddle is just a fall restraint device. And that's like, I don't want to be negative about people, but you have companies that want to promote products as saddle hunting only, but at the end of the day, a saddle is just fall restraint. So I've converted a lot of people that I've met and hung out with that were telling me they didn't want to be saddle hunters, but they wanted something more lightweight and more feasible than their traditional tree stand harness, right? So essentially, if you use a saddle in a tree stand and you fall under the restraint side of it, you just want to have 2 foot or less space in your tether, you know, like, and that doesn't mean like just because your tether's angled and you got 3 foot, what you want to do is limit the fall side of it. So essentially you would want to take 2 foot or less of fall and stay in restraint. And so you'd be in the restraint, because if you go beyond that, you're falling to the fall protection standards. Whereas, you know, your anchor needs to be at least 5,000 pounds and all your attachments have to be 5,000 pounds. And you also have to have a shock absorbing lanyard incorporated into that, which is kind of a funny thing for me, like based on how a lot of people are hunting out of, you know, tree stand harnesses. But so yeah, sorry, I got a little long-winded, but yeah, I would totally recommend people that are on the cusp to start using a saddle, not thinking of themselves as being a saddle hunter, just using it as a fall restraint. Because the beauty of that is if you're hunting out of a tree stand, and I've been doing this for years, like with a rock climbing harness, I've always positioned the tree between me and where I think the deer is coming, even with a lock on, because I predominantly hunt out of a lock on. So I'll put it there. And then the beauty of that is when you use a saddle or even a climbing harness and you position it, and another thing is you don't have to position your tether above your eyes. You can position your tether, especially with ours, how comfortable our saddles are. You can position that tether around your navel or high, just a little bit higher, and you're still gonna be comfortable and you still have good mobility. But like if you're hunting out of a tree stand with it, you can lean back towards the back of that tree stand and shoot around that tree with that saddle engaged, because it's a restraint. It's keeping you from falling off the side of it. And especially if you're a guy that's a little bit sketched out with heights, like using that type of restraint system is going to make you feel a lot more comfortable because you're going to be tighter to the tree.
Yeah, and then even too, like if you have like where some guys will set up their stand, you know, as if it's the next step, and then there's other people that put it where you just step straight over from your last stick over to the stand. So it adds the ability to be even almost be able to walk around the tree a little bit, kind of like you would, you know, hunting out of a traditional saddle type of situation.
Yeah, exactly. That's a great point, Bo. I'm glad you brought that up.
I don't only just have the best mustache.
I know. Yeah. Let's see. What else about saddles and stuff? Both of our saddles have the attachments for the Unisystem, which the Unisystem is a universal shoulder strap system that has a magnetic connecting and disconnecting backpack.
Yeah, what about with that uni system? What's that look like? So the uni system will not be in tomorrow's pre-order, but what are you looking at for that?
Yeah, it's in the future, and the whole bag itself is going to be. So this is the bag. So it's a roll top bag. It has attachments on the sides to, you know, if you're a guy that wants to put your sticks on the saddle, you have a platform attachment. It also is it's a roll top that has compression straps, and then the roll top works here. We have a full video on YouTube like this, and then you can open her up. Super durable. I mean, this bag is something that I've been dreaming about forever, and like Jordan and I talk about all the time, and really what instigated us into it was part of the uni system, but we determined that it needed to be a standalone backpack. So this whole bag will come as an option to be part of the uni system, or you can buy it as a bag with traditional shoulder straps and waist belt. But the beauty of this bag, how we have it set up now, it's compression style. So you have these top straps that go over compressed too. So you can put a layer up here. If you want a camera arm up here, you could do that, you know, like with our Nomad camera arm. But we also have a brain or a lid that's going to be standalone that connects right where these G-hooks connect for your compression straps. And then it folds over and you can connect the compression straps into that. But that brain gives you a little bit more space, but then it will come off and it will be its own standalone little fanny pack. It's got a webbing loop waist belt in it that connects by G-hook. So if you wanted to, like, you know, say you're using this somewhere and you shot an animal and you wanted to blood trail it and leave all your stuff behind, but you wanted to carry your kill kit or something with you, you can throw that on. Or you're on an out-of-state hunt and you're running in to check out a spot and you need a few things, you could throw that little fanny pack on. So that's why we call it a universal system. Everything's universal. So how this works is, I'm gonna hope this. So with either of our saddles, so we have the Nano here. Oh, here we go. So we have the Uni shoulder strap system. And on your saddle, you're going to have these biothane loops. They're real rigid. And you have a back connection that will go in on a G-clip, G-hook, and it's adjustable. And then we have them on the side, and they're oriented not like a suspender system. It's more like a backpack. So they curve under your arms rather than being out front. And so they connect like this on each side. So you have it here. You have a chest strap, like a sternum strap here. It's magnetic. And then what you do, you'll step into this. I'm gonna do this real quick, but you have your whole system here. And you can adjust your straps on the sides and the back. And then the beauty of the Uni system is you have a backpack system. that magnetically connects. So you're walking in, you got a full system, get to the tree, you got your stuff on the side. Say you're not using the Ultimate, so you don't have your sticks back there. You can carry them on the backpack, have your platform back there. You want to run in stealth, get to the bottom of the tree, you pop it off, set things down, get your stuff out, put it back on, get up the tree. When you get up the tree, you can just quickly disconnect your bag. And then we have another rope system here that will essentially girth hitch back into itself to hang from like any type of gear hauler system or a limb or anything like that. The only thing we're changing about this, we're moving the connection points a little bit further down. And then we're also adding some straps to keep the bag more tight. We started testing the system later in the season this year, and we found those problems with it. We're going to fix that, actually going tomorrow and finalizing all that deal. So it'll be ready for purchase, I would say, in the next 6 weeks.
All right, I got another question, Jason, about the pre-order tomorrow. Is there a deposit amount for the pre-order, or is it payment in full?
We do payment in full.
Okay.
Yeah, and everybody's going to get on the pre-order. If you're an insider, you're going to get 10% off.
Yeah. So that'll go out in the email tomorrow morning. It'll go in conjunction with that stuff going live. So that'll be there. And then that, just so you know about that discount code will be good for the length of the pre-order, which is 2 weeks, or until we hit the limited amount that we're giving with that. So, but 2 weeks is the maximum on it.
Yeah, and like anything else of ours, if you don't like your product, you can send it back. We have 30-day return policy. Look at our return policy. Like, we're confident in what we do.
Yeah. Yeah, and also, like, you know, we do these types of things as far as having these live Q&As and anything else. I mean, shoot us an email if you ever have suggestions or problems or anything. I mean, that's how these products are made a lot of times, is from or get better from suggestions from all of you. And that really helps out with being able to do it. You know, being a small company of hunters, it helps when everyone gives their feedback and suggestions and really listen to it and are able to make those changes.
Yeah. And I mean, and for you guys that are insiders, we have a lot more stuff coming out for y'all this year, like from a Q&A perspective. You know, we really value, you know, a lot of y'all, I haven't looked at who's all on here, but like, I'm kind of a weirdo. I kind of know who follows us and who doesn't, and who's part of our insider groups. And like, you know, we really value everybody that's part of this. It's why we give you these exclusive type discounts and like Q&A events. But what we do plan from our education perspective is we plan to do a monthly Q&A educational piece where we'll have some of our pro staff people on, or ourselves coming in, that where you guys get exclusive access to them to ask them questions about hunting strategies. Or, you know, we have clothing manufacturers are going to come on. You can talk to them about clothing, boots, all these things. So that's one of the key features that we feel is going to, you know, really help everybody, because that's what we want to do. We want to make you guys be the best and make the best decision when you make purchases. Because, you know, any of you that's ever communicated with me, I'll tell you if our stuff may work for you, but I'll also tell you if it's not a good fit, and I'll tell you exactly what you probably need to go to.
Yeah. So does anybody have any more questions before we close off this meeting here? And as always, I mean, if you think of something after this isn't an end all be all, feel free to shoot us an email, and we'll be happy to answer that for you. Anything else, Jason, Tyler, Jordan, that you guys want to add before we kind of close out here?
No, I think we're good. It's past my bedtime.
I think we're good.
All right, cool. Well, again, thank you everybody for coming on and bringing your questions here and giving us the opportunity to share some of these new products that everybody's very proud of and excited to do this pre-order launch. And yeah, and one of the main goals for this year too is to do a better job with keeping things in stock once we get things in and doing that. And I know Jason, Jordan, and Tyler, you guys have been working a lot with the manufacturers to make sure that that can happen. But as I said, I think in a recent email that I sent out, still don't wait until hunting season, just because that's a hard time. It still is a turnaround with made in the U.S. products here and being able to get that. So
yeah, thanks everybody for coming on. Sure, means a lot.
All right.